Happy New Year and welcome to Altenberg in Saxony in the far southeastern corner of Germany. The track designed by DDR engineers to be as tough as any on the planet. The BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup Round 3 this morning, the first action in a snowy weekend at the track that brings the fear of God into a lot of athletes. It's a real driver's track, Altenberg. It was designed with all the trickiest parts of every track leading up to the Calgary Games, and it is still a huge challenge. Short, sharp start. The sprinters really fare well here. Elena Nikitina, who won her first ever World Cup race in Sigulda, holds the start record. And you go straight into corner one, named after the man who is now the track boss, Matthias Benesch, who proved that you can crash there. Listeners, you pick up speed quickly here into turns 2 and 3, and then the big Omega curve, corner 4, double right-hander 5 and 6, and trying to keep the speed on board here. Little labyrinth, 7, 8, and then Kerner 9, named after the great Harold Tudai. Critical exit there, long straight down into this 1, 2, and then on the exit 3 pressure corner, looking for a flag at the roof to get the steer off. 11, 12, and then over the brow and into 13 and 14. The real signature corners here, very easy to crash a bobsleigh. And then past our commentary position, the fastest part of the track, 14, 15 and 16, and then the final sting in the tail, corner 17, where you can win or lose it. Well, our two winners so far this season, Elena Nikitina and Jacqueline Lurling, hold the start and the finish record here. And in fact, Jacqueline Lurling, the winner of the last 2 races. It's Nikitina, though, who leads the World Cup standings at the Christmas break, ahead of Tina Herman and Jacqueline Lurling, with Savannah Grable in 4th. Ahead of Elizabeth Meyer was Vace of Canada, and Julia Kanakina and Jane Channel. Could we have a German 1, 2, 3 here, as we did last year, with Lurling beating Tina Herman and then German slider Anna Fernstedt? The answer is yes, we could do, but the answer this year is also we might not. Well, we have 20 sleds in our field from 11 nations. 2 winners in 2 races so far. And this is a chance perhaps for some of the sprinters like Marina Gr Dhoni to fare well, or bronze medalist 2 years ago, Janine Flock, who has only done 1 World Cup race so far this season. It's been pretty snowy this week. Air temperature hovering around -2, ice around -2. Whatever the worries about driving this track, there's never any worry about the ice condition. The ice meister Ralph here has been building fabulous ice in Altenberg for decades, and that continues to be the case. Well, here's our start list with Marina Gr Dhoni of Switzerland going off first, ahead of Savannah Grable. This is a remarkable combination of youth and experience. We've got athletes here with fewer than a handful of race starts, and we've got some here who are well into their second half-century of World Cup starts. The third BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup race gets underway with Marina Gr Dhoni, 10th place in last year's race here in Altenberg. The 31-year-old Swiss, former Junior World Championship winning bobsleigh brakewoman. She trained in Sigulda, but didn't race there or in Winterberg. So this is actually her first World Cup start of the year. And for Marina Gr Dhoni, this is her 54th World Cup start in skeleton, added to which a further 12 World Cup starts as a bobsleigh brakewoman. And that is not even accounting for her World Championships, Junior World Championships, and Olympic performances. So top 10 finish last year for Marina Gr Dhoni, still trying to recover her full fitness. She has been an electrifying start monster in the past. Let's see what she can produce here. Start record set in November 2015 by Elena Nikitina, 5.33. How close do we get? 5.75 for Marina. So quietly out of corner 1. There's Ralph the Ice Meister with his signature red cap on, tracking down through 2 and 3, up to the first big test. Double pressure corner 4. Nicely through there. 30 miles an hour already and accelerating hard now. critical exit on the straight, tracking pretty true. You can see it's a little snowy. They're leaving marks through the Kreisel. Look for the flag on the exit. You can see it hanging there. And then through the lower part of the track, over 65 miles an hour, over the brow, right beside the commentary position. Track doubles back over itself, 112 kilometres an hour, 70 miles an hour, and at the line, a 59.37. Track record is a 57.85.
5.37, the time for first seed of Gr
So 5.75 and a 59.37 from Marina Gr Dhoni. Her first World Cup start of the season. She is the first of our 20 athletes down. Anybody who safely completes the course will get a second run. Here's the exit then onto the straight. And this is the run down from corner 9. Trying to set herself up slightly to sliders left to go into the Kreisel, take the first pressure. Exit Kreisel over the brow. Sled goes very light and slides away. And Marina in the weighing area down at the bottom. Second starter, 30-year-old American Savannah Grable, 14th and 19th in Sigulda and Winterberg this season. She's had 2 World Cup starts here and a couple of Europa Cup races, 5.90. Just a little shift of the weight, didn't drag the toe, but a big skid through corner 4, the Omega corner. And anytime the sled goes sideways, that's costing time. See, she's got her knees and her ankles apart on the sled. And she's still looking for control. Ice always very different in the race than it was in training. The weather is always changeable on an ice track. 106.7, 66.3 miles an hour. Better speed than Marina Gr Dhoni from Savannah Grable, but scrubs some away on the wall. 110 kilometres an hour, just a little behind the Swiss girl in terms of speed. Still in the red and at the line, it's a 60.15. Little round of applause from coach Caleb Smith.
1 minute 00.15, the time for Grable.
So Savannah Grable second at the moment. 19th and 21st, her 2 World Cup finishes here. So she didn't make the cut for the second heat last year. She will this year. Well, here's the first pressure, drops right out of sight. Second pressure pushes her really high. She's going to be late and has to steer a little hard off the Kreisel. Brings her over into the right-hand wall as the slider looks at it. A little skid and a rub there. There's Tuffy Latour carrying the sled. And sporting a very Kenny Rogers beard. Next up, Kimberly Murray from Great Britain. 30-year-old making her 3rd ever World Cup start. 13th and 16th in Sigulda and Winterberg, her record for the season so far. 5.75, same as Marina Gr Dhoni. So as she lays down into corner 1, she's tied for the lead. Oh, little nudge away from the junior start there. That's where the loose start comes in, rather. Oh, what a big problem there. And as the legs get flung around, most of the mass of a skeleton slider and sled is the slider, and that really throws her sideways. Little nudge coming into the Kreisel, 106.5, 66.1, nearly 2 miles an hour down on speed. Very wild ride for Kimberly Murray. Raced here in Europa Cup 2 years ago, Intercontinental Cup last year, the second tier of sliding. So the girl from Newport, Isle of Wight, with very little experience of this track. Just 2 prior race weekends. 60.75, we'll take that, says Eric Van Otis, who's now leading the coaching setup for Great Britain Skeleton. After retirement of long-time team leader Andy Schmidt at the end of last season. Let's take a look here. Huge height on the exit, straight into the wall. 3 into 4. A real problem for Kim Murray. And again, that over the brow Camera doesn't lie to you there. The sled goes light. If you're anywhere near not straight, it'll break into a skid as soon as look at you. Fourth of 20 starters is Elizabeth Meyer, was Elizabeth Vache for Canada. Ninth place finish last year. She was silver medalist in Sigulda, only 12th in Winterberg the week before Christmas. She's had 4 World Cup starts. 20th, 13th, 14th and 9th has been the progression. Let's see if she can continue to work her way up the order. Mum and Dad are both here this weekend. They spent the Christmas New Year break with friends and family in the Netherlands. And got a Dutch-German background. Waiting for the red light to go green. Little delay on the track, not quite sure why. Gotta make sure not to lose her focus. So the 30-second countdown begins. You've got to break the start beam, which is just there within that 30 seconds. Let's see what she's got at the start. 5:77, couple of hundreds off the fast start so far of Kim Murray and Marina Gr Dhoni. We will see quicker. Neat run so far, little toe steer into 4 and rattles the wall in 5. Trying to keep it nice and quiet. Just shifting those hips a little to steer her left coming into the Kreisel. Controls the first pressure nicely and the second. Good exit, doesn't break into the skid. Still in the red though, behind Marina Gr Dhoni. Gave away nothing at the start, but 6/10 back. 112 kilometres an hour, decent speed, but all too little too late. Can she find anything to the line? No, she can't. 63 hundredths back. A 60-second slide. Now, is that going to be a top 10 run today? You can see that they only just have the momentum to get up to the finish area. Out of 4, legs hit the wall before the sled does. You can see how it throws her around, and all of that movement going sideways is movement not going forwards. The familiar pink helmet of Yulia Kanakina, Russia's junior world champion from 2017. The 22-year-old has finished 7th and 8th so far this season. 4 Europa Cup races here, 2 World Cup races and the Junior World Championships. So she's got good experience of this Altenberg track. But she didn't race here last year. She was at the Junior Worlds. 5:51, that's a really good start from the former ballet dancer. And a nice quiet exit to corner 1, avoids the nudge to corner 2. Through 4, little slide as she picked up the steer into corner 4, but a decent exit. She's got speed on board. 4/10 is her advantage. It's a good-looking run from Kanakina. Ooh, little nervous with the toe coming down to the Kreisel. And you can hear the steers all the way through to keep the line straight. She's giving away speed, but still 3,400 up. 65.7, not as quick Elizabeth Meyer. 69.5, nearly as quick as Marina Gr Dhoni. That's miles an hour, not kilometres an hour. And across the line with the lead by 18 hundredths. 56.19 slide for Yulia Kanakina. Well, only once in the last decade have Russian sliders made the podium here in Altenberg. That was in 2014-15. Maria Orlova won, and Elena Nikitina took bronze with Lizzie Arnold sandwiched between them. Those are the only podiums Russian sliders have had here in the women's skeleton in a decade. Head up. Knows she's got the steer right. It's a good exit. Just hung on a fraction late, but look, no skid. She gets the toe drag in and actually almost creates a skid of her own. There is your new race leader, Yulia Kanakina. Julia Kanakina leads here in Altenberg. Our World Cup points leader next up. Her teammate, Yelena Nikitina, finished in 5th place here last year. Bronze here 4 seasons ago. And she has found that form again. Took her first ever World Cup win in Sigulda. Finished in 4th in Winterberg before Christmas. Fastest start with a 5:35. That's a huge start advantage. Nikitina has what it takes to win here, even against the Germans, but she's got to keep the speed alive at the top of the track because they find it down the bottom where they make up for their start deficit. 3/10 up. Great speed from Nikitina. 107 kilometres now, that's 66.8, fastest we've seen. Nikitina stretching her legs now, accelerating away. Great run over the brow. 1:13.2, 70.3 miles an hour. Fastest again, helmet scraping on the ice, a 58.59 slide. And that might be enough to really challenge the Germans. 6/10 ahead of Julia Kanakina, 78 ahead of Marina Gr Dhoni in 3rd, 1.4 seconds ahead of Elizabeth Meyer in 4th. Look at this. Just the tiniest of toes here. See her shifting her hips as well, just steering the sled a fraction. Really nice run from Yelena Nikitina. Well, that wonky grin on the helmet will be replicated by a big smile underneath it. She's got the pistol fingers. She is our leader. Jacqueline Lurling lying 3rd in the World Cup, one of 2 women to win this season. The other one, Yelena Nikitina, is our race leader. That doesn't say Andak, that says Jacka, read backwards. Jacqueline Lurling, home race, Winterberg, just before Christmas. She won it. And she has won the last 2 outings here. See Matthias Guggenberger there with the stopwatch and Kristen Bromley watching on as her coach holds the sled. This is Dirk Matjens, the German coach. Himself a former skeleton slider. Have more about him in a moment. Now she's waiting a long while before the sled goes on the ice. Just enough time. The confidence there that she's not going to pop the groove or have any other errors. Now Jacqueline will not have a big start, but she's tall and she just slides ice so fantastically. She needs to. She's 52 hundredths behind, half a second behind at the start. And the snow has started. This might be the race right now. Jacqueline Lurling versus Yelena Nikitina, because as the snow blows in, the track will slow up. So she was 52 hundredths back, out to 73, now back to 63 hundredths behind as she gets into the Kreisel. Great exit from the Kreisel, 48 hundredths back. She's reeling in Nikitina. She's already up to 3rd on the splits. Let's take a look at the speeds. 1:15.6, sensational. That's nearly 72 miles an hour. Has she got enough in the tank to take the lead? No, 1500s back, but there's your race. It is Nikitina versus Lurling. So 1500s back. She was the junior world champion here in 2015. Earned herself a spot at the senior worlds at her home track in Winterberg, where she took silver. And there is the snow, and that is going to change the nature of the track. Look here in the Kreisel. Big first pressure, drops right down into the gutter, but she steers with her head, gets a good exit. She's got height and mass on her side, and she knows how to feel the grip on the ice. Only 1500ths away. Next up, Kimberly Boss. Now, she will go as quickly as she can, urged on by Kristen Bromley, because as the snow comes in, she's got no time to waste. 25-year-old Dutch lass was 7th here last year, 2 9th-place finishes this season. And off 5:66. Ralph there on his phone. quite possibly checking the weather and quite possibly sending instructions down to the refrigeration plant as well, because as the moisture in the snow gets to the track, it's going to start to frost up. Still in the red, 63 hundredths back. Julia Kanakina is in third, 6/10 away. This is a top three run from Boss, but even as we say that, looks like it might not be all of a sudden. See, there's more powdery snow in the runner's way on the track, and she cannons off the wall, coming out of 14, losing time now, down to 6th position at the line. 1.48 seconds back. That's a 60.07 slide. She's had 2 World Cup races here, 13th and 7th. I think this is more of a 13th than a 7th, but we'll wait and see what the second heat brings in terms of weather. But here, just scrubbing away speed. Tags the wall there, gets a big hit here, and look at the runners through the snow as well. You know what that does to your car when you hit snow? Same with the runners, it slows you down. Matthias Guggenberger holding the sled for Janine Flock. We've got competitors here with fewer than 5 starts. This is Janine's 70th World Cup skeleton race. 20th here last year in what was a freakish result. 5.80 for the Austrian slider.
46,8 Kilometer pro Stunde.
Her first race here was the 2008 World Championships. Best result here was bronze 2 years ago. So from bronze 2 years ago to 20th last year. Last year was a very topsy-turvy start to the season. Little drift down the straight and another. 109 kilometres an hour into the Kreisel. Decent speed, but the gap's already out to 3/4 of a second and more. 106.9, 2 miles an hour down on Jacqueline Lurling. Out to 8/10 back. This is only top 5. But she started 7th quickest, so driving herself back into the top 4. 59.33, and again, like Lurling, a really tall athlete, and with height comes mass, and with mass comes the ability to shrug off some of the effects of this snowfall. So Janine Flock, with all that experience, in her 70th World Cup race, in the top 4. And you can see the snow drifting in now. The real problem for the later athletes is how much stays in the track. Little smile from Janine within shouting distance of the podium. 10th starter in our field of 20, Germany's Tina Herman, 2nd in the World Cup point standings, the 28-year-old. Silver medalist here for the last 3 seasons. How much more would she like to step up onto the top step? Well, like her teammate Jacqueline Lurling, like winners here, Marion Thies, Marion Trott and Anja Huber, doesn't have a huge start, but knows where to find speed further down the track. So Herman, little weight here. She's had a good start to the season. Bronze medalist in Sigulda in Latvia, the season opener. Silver medalist behind Jacqueline Lurling in Winterberg. And she is, at the moment, on a 5 straight streak of podium finishes in World Cup races. The last 3 last season and the first 2 this year. 5.79 start. It's 100th ahead of 4th place. Janine Flock at the start just avoids the tag on the wall that Kimberly Murray took into corner 3. You can see it's now snowing more heavily. The jury are now having to look at the weather and decide whether this is now fair for the later sliders compared to the front runners or the earlier sliders. The first 3 come from outside the top 10. Then we have our 10 best ranked sliders. So Tina Herman, second in the World Cup standings, definitely among them. 3/4 of a second back, started 7th fastest, now up to 5th on the splits, now up to 4th on the splits. The gaps behind Nikitina and Lurling are huge, but challenging for third, no. Gets in front of Janine Flock by 300ths. But you can see there that her coach is not wildly overjoyed with that. Dirk Matchens is now thinking, okay, if Tina Herman can't get within 3/4 of a second of Elena Nikitina and half a second of Jacqueline Lurling, then I think Tina Herman reflecting his thoughts that we may not be looking at even conditions for all the athletes. Tiniest little stumble there as she mounted the sled. Well, next up from Canada, Jane Channel, and she will go the moment the bell sounds. 11th of our 20 starters, the 30-year-old, 4th in Sigulda, then 11th in Winterberg. She's had 2 11ths, a 7th and a 6th place in her 4 World Cup starts here. So which will it be today? 3rd fastest starter with a 5:54. Well, she's definitely got top 6 potential. She's raced here in the Intercontinental Cup as well as 4 World Cup starts. So she's got knowledge of the track to draw on. Second ever World Cup start for Jane Channel was here in January 2015. 1.2 seconds back. Started 3rd fastest, 8th fastest at the moment. You can see lots of snow flurries, clear runner marks through the snow. Chin piece of the helmet dragging on the ice in the final corners. 11th, 60.83 seconds. Well, that is 1.53 seconds slower than Tina Herman has just gone down. So, at the moment, matching 2 of her previous finishes, 11th place. Look here, skid and a late exit, has to drive it down, clatters the wall. So there are definitely errors creeping in there. How much of that is snow-induced as well, only the athletes are really going to know. They feel the sled slowing. Mirela Reneva of Canada is our 12th slider. Finished in 22nd place here last year, didn't make the cut for the second heat. And the 30-year-old, 12th in Sigulda, 5th in Winterberg. 2 World Cup races here in her 18 World Cup career tally. 5:50. So 18th World Cup start for Mimi Reneva, just 1500ths off the fastest starter. And that was our leader, Elena Nikitina. Big scorpion leg action there. So giving away speed at the start or at the top of the track, it's really hard to gain it back. Big pressure through Tudai, long run down the straight. And the pressure's to take her through the Kreisel. Not a bad run down the straight. 1.1 seconds back. The speed is 5 miles an hour down. 107 kilometers, 67 miles an hour to the 72 of Jacqueline Lurling. And Mimi, a 60.4 line slide, so she's 4/10 or 3/10 ahead of teammate Jane Channel. And probably wouldn't have expected to be much further up the top 10 than she is now, even in good conditions. Look at that, huge skid, pressure in all the wrong places. But a good exit here, tiny toe steer, but straight into the snow. And the athletes will tell you just feel the speed sagging out of the sled. Elena Nikitina leads this snow race in Altenberg from Jacqueline Lurling and Julia Kanakina. 12 sleds down, 8 to go. A snowy women's skeleton race in Altenberg in Germany to start the new year. Germany's Savannah Grable, the 13th of our 20 starters. German 1, 2, 3 here last year. Jacqueline Lurling ahead of Tina Herman and Anna Fernstedt, who at that stage had taken over Grebel's World Cup slot. Savannah started in the North American leg. Didn't have a great start to the season. Anna Fernstedt was going great guns in ICC, the second category of sliding, and took over the points position for Grable. But Fernstedt now sliding for the Czech Republic. So can Savannah Grable get herself into medal contention? The 28-year-old starts 5.73. 2 sixth-place finishes this season in Sigulda and in Winterberg. So she's finding her old form again. Neat-looking run so far. 6th fastest at the start, still 6th fastest, but she's yet to really get to the uncovered part of the track. Here she is now, stays out of the snow. 6,600s back, top 5 as she gets onto the Kreisel. Decent exit, nails the landing. Now driving herself towards the top 3, 4th place on the splits. Challenging Yulia Kanakina of Russia. Can she find something in the final couple of corners? Big pressure, the last 2 left-handers. And across the line, 4th place, 59.27. And she is 800s out of the top 3. Now, Dirk Matchens shouldn't be too concerned about that. She's ahead of Tina Herman, silver medalist for the last 3 years, by 300s. So the battle for 3rd, 3 sleds, make that 5 sleds, covered by 1800ths of a second. Well, look at her here on the straight. Slight skid, just about a little rub on the wall, but does very little damage. And you can see the straight had been swept, so no snow to slow her down. Laura Dees, winner here 3 seasons ago, ahead of Tina Herman and Jacqueline Lurling. In these conditions, going late as she is, possibly unlikely that the 30-year-old bronze medalist from the Pyeongchang Olympics will do that here today. 5:53 start, though, that puts her in the frame. 4th fastest start, but it is snowing heavily still. 1800s back at the start. Oh, little rough on the exit, 4 to 5. What can she find now? Got to keep it neat and tidy. Needs a good exit off the big corner 9. Gets a good exit off corner 9. Decent looking run. Top 3 from the Olympic bronze medalist. Big second pressure. Nails the exit of the Kreisel. Really good looking run from Laura Dees. 105.9 kilometres an hour. 65.8 compared to 68 miles an hour of our leader. Now she rattles the wall as she comes down to the final couple of corners. Speed is sagging away. Was 3rd, finishes in 8th at the line. Well, she is still, potentially in a medal battle, but the second half of the track definitely did not match the first half. From the Kreisel down, the speed just ebbed away. Well, here we go, high on. And a late rattle with the wall, out of Omega into 5. And then over the brow beside the commentary position where we get the track crossover, big skid and a hit, and that robs the speed. And the snow is definitely not helping. I don't see the jury calling off the runs now, so they're just going to have to make the most of it. Madeleine Smith for Great Britain, 23 years old, 6th ever World Cup race, total experience in Altenberg in terms of races. Well, she's just about to have her first ever race here. So 23-year-old rookie, 10th and 14th this season, and a 5:69 getaway. 7th fastest start, avoids the wall that her teammate Kim Murray clipped. So far, 4 to 5, good transition. 7th at the start, 12th place. Now, no major dramas, sled looking fairly under control. And that's maybe not a surprise, as she's a rookie. She may well have gone for control over speed. After all, you don't get any points for being lightning fast and then crashing. 103.6 kilometres an hour, 64.4 miles an hour. So speed is not great, but getting down in one piece and going back again will give her the opportunity to improve. It's a learning curve. 60.56. So decent run, 13th place for Maddie Smith, ahead of Kim Murray and Jane Channel in the 15 sliders so far, trying to pump her way up to the top onto the flat. Jen Bryant, the team manager, goes down to help her out with the sled. Again, look at the exit here. She's got loads of control, steers the line she wants, oversteers a little, overcorrects a bit. 6 runs in training. This is her 7th run down the track through the snow. That slows her down a little as well. But she's down, safe and ready to go again and try and improve. She can make the setup a little edgier for the second run if she wants. Yelena Nikitina and Yulia Kanakina, 1-3 for Russia, with 5 sleds to go. Renata Kutsina of Russia won World Cup race here last year, 13th position she finished. She's raced here 3 times in the Europa Cup, or taken 3 podiums in 4 starts in the Europa Cup. Sergei Chudanov, former Russian slider, now their skeleton coach, is holding the sled for Renata. Just 24 years old. This is already her 16th World Cup start. 8th in Sigulda, effectively Russia's second home track after Sochi. Only 17th in Winterberg, though. She's not a glider, she's a real driver. She's got a good start, and Altenberg might play well for her. 5:79, snow still blowing down outside my window here. You can see it sifting its way into the track. As soon as they come out from under the shades, they're in the snow. So Kutsina, 4400ths down at the start, only 12th fastest, rattles the wall into 5. A little neater and tidier here. Out of 9, decent run down the straight. See the corner workers there ready to jump in and sweep again in the Kreisel. Big first pressure, huge looping in the second pressure. Takes a little rub down the right-hand wall on the exit. 105 clicks, 2.5 miles an hour astray of the fastest, 110.4, nearly 70 miles an hour, nearly 69 miles an hour, so still 3 down. And at the line, 9th place, 59.93. Well, from 13th place in last year's race, 9th place first heat, not bad. Continuing to improve, Renata, but the body language says she's not overjoyed with that. Exit 4 into 5. Again, everybody coming a little late off there. Really hard not to without having a big steer in the middle of the corner. The ice is always good here in training, but it's absolutely mirror here in the race. 4 to go, 28-year-old Californian Kendall Wessenberg next up for the USA. 11th place in Sigulda, 15th in Winterberg this year. Only 23rd here last season. Her worst result in Altenberg. She's been 18th, 14th, and then 23rd. Let's see what she can produce. 5:82 the getaway. 15th fastest start. And you can see it's really snowing now. Continuing just to silt up the track. Little toe steer the beginning of 4, had to steer hard on the exit as well. And that's all costing her pace. 15th at the start, still 15th on the splits, out of corner 9. Straight away down to the Kreisel. This 360-degree, 3-pressure corkscrew turn. Come out under where you went in. 105.8 kilometres an hour, 65.7 miles an hour. 2.3 miles an hour down on the fastest. Little skid over the brow from 14 to 15. Huge corner 15, and then the sting in the tail, 16 across the line, 13th place. So improves on her start. 200s behind teammate Savannah Grable. 12th and 13th for the 2 American sliders. Here's the Kreisel. Big second pressure. She allowed the sled to drop a little on the first, but the exit there, not bad. Then unfortunately gets light, breaks into the skid, and into the snow she goes. So there's Kendall from Modesto, California.
Happy birthday, Amanda Maya.
About as far from a Queensland January as you can get in terms of temperature. This is Jacqueline Narracott from Brisbane. Her 30th ever World Cup start. Big landmark for Jackie. 5:83 start, 100 slower than the last slider, Kendall Westenberg. Didn't slide in Sigulda. Top 10 finish in her first World Cup race of the season in Winterberg just before the Christmas break. She stayed here in Europe. Little skid there. The sled getting sideways, trying to avoid the snow. 16th at the start, still 16th. Drags down the wall, and when you're right up there by the wall, you're in the snow, and that helps pull you over to the wall as well. A good exit out the Kreisel. You can see how much snow there was in the straight. 17th place. She was 14th going into the Kreisel. Double tack coming out of 14 down into 15. Head up, looking for the line. And across the line, 16th place, 60.63. Last year was a real snow-affected race. This year is as well. 2.04 seconds back, does not reflect Jackie Narracott's ability. She's ahead of Kim Murray and Jane Channel. 16th out of our 18 sliders so far. 21st, 17th and 17th in her 3 World Cup appearances on the Altenberg track. And there you can see the snow and the wall all dragging speed out of the sled. Well, this might be a day just to try and survive and hope that the snow is better in the second heat for you than it is for the later runners, but there's no guarantee, I'm afraid, once the weather arrives, when it's going to change, stay the same or disappear. So boyfriend Dom Parsons not racing this season as he finishes off his college degree. Next up, another landmark. Kim Arman's a Belgian. Little Kim celebrating her 25th World Cup start here this weekend. Just 22 years old, didn't race in Sigulda. She was 13th in Winterberg, and in her 3 World Cup races here, she's been 9th, 16th, and last year 12th. Also raced here a couple of times in Europa Cup, the junior category of sliding. Goes Europa Cup, Intercontinental Cup, World Cup, and North America's Cup is equal to Europa Cup for the continental sliders in North America. Let's take a look at the start, 5:76. That's not a bad getaway from Kim Boss. 11th fastest start. Now she's out of the shelter and into the snow. Big steer onto 4. What does that do on the exit? Nice exit, 4 to 5. But it's cost her time, down to 15th place on the splits. Good exit, decent run down the straight, freshly swept. Looks like they're sweeping every 2 or 3 sliders. 107.2 kilometres an hour. She's pulling in a little bit. Again, straight out the Kreisel, freshly swept. So a little less to retard her. But you can hear the steering and the skids are costing her. 16th on the splits now. Decent run from 14 to 15. Can she bring herself closer to a top 12 run at the end of the line? It's a 60.44 in 14th place. So 1.85 back, but she slots in ahead of Mimi Rainiva of Canada by 0.05 of a second. Some big gaps outside the top 10, some big gaps inside the top 10. You always get that on a snow race. Well, she hits the wall hard there. That wasn't a little glance, that was a big hit. And that will have taken speed out of the sled. Final slider in the first heat of 2 is Italy's queen of hair bear looks, Valentina Margaglio. 25-year-old. This is her second World Cup start as a skeleton athlete. She was a bobsled brakewoman before converting to driving herself. She made her World Cup debut as a skeleton slider in Winterberg, finished in 20th spot. She started on the bobsleigh brakes and was lured away by skeleton, 5:45. That is a decent start, only a 10th away, second fastest of the starters. What she does not have is decades of experience or even years of experience of driving ice. Really still in the very early stages of learning to slide. So she's already down to 5th place on the splits. The snow has just about stopped. This will help her. See the big waves, see how far apart her feet are. And that puts the weight onto the back of the runners where there are tiny little grooves just to help with stability, stop it waving around. Using the toes a lot, tap dancing away down the straight, down to 18th place. Well, she finishes at the line in 20th, but a 61.16 slide. However, we'll talk in the men's race this afternoon about a man who started 1500s faster than anyone in his first race in Altenberg, and yet finished 1.48 seconds back in a non-snow race in 37th place, Alexander Chechikov. And you ask any coach, they'll say, give me somebody with a start and I'll teach them how to slide. And that's what we've got here with Valentina. She can start, she doesn't have experience, she doesn't have the feel of the ice yet. With a start and feel for the ice, and in a rare vein of form at the moment, is Elena Nikitina of Russia. She's our race leader after the first of 2 heats. They all go again in the second. Both runs will count, at least if the snow holds off. But you can see from the pictures of her run, she had clear air and the newest, clearest track. Nikitina just 6th out of the starting traps. She leads from our 2-time winner here, Jacqueline Lurling, with Julia Kanakina in 3rd, ahead of Sophia Grable, Tina Herman, Janine Flock and Marina Gr Dhoni, all battling Kanakina, surely for that bronze medal position, particularly if the weather doesn't clear. Well, lots of gaps further back of big sizes, but there are a few governed by just a few hundreds, and we will likely see a lot of changes in the second heat. They'll go 20 down to 1, last to fast in the second run, and the sleds will be back on air at 11:30 local time. That is 10:30 GMT, 05:30 Eastern. I feel your pain wherever you are. Join us then. Until then, from me, Martin Haven, and the IBSF TV crew here in Altenberg in Saxony. Frohes neue Jahr, Happy New Year. We'll see you in just over 30 minutes for the deciding run in World Cup number 3.